out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Destiny 2 is one of the games I was looking forward to the most in 2017. The fact that I could finally play one of my favorite first-person shooters with a keyboard and mouse rather than with a controller made me extremely excited, as I had many a time wished I could playing the original Destiny after making the switch to PC. Not to mention the improved frame rate and resolution, as the original Destiny on PS4 looked as blurry as a window that had frozen over, and ran about as well as a sloth with several prosthetic limbs. I was really looking forward to this. Was my hype justified? I'd say it was. Like I said, Destiny was one of my favorite games after its release, even with all its flaws. It's almost like I have a weird enjoyment of things people think are garbage, like the animation made for that one game Corpse Party, or the reboot of the Devil May Cry series. Huh. Destiny 2's campaign, while not the most gripping thing in the world, but definitely having its moments, actually has a story.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
And that story, while not up to par with Bungie's past games in the original Halo series, wasn't that bad. The fact that after a certain point you can play the campaign with friends is also a major plus for the game, as some of my favorite moments have come from playing the game with my friends.
I'll knife you, ouch. No, don't knife me.
Caden,
That's what
this
I
is
want
where
to
we
do
part
to you.
ways, okay?
What?
This is where we part ways.
What do you mean?
Wait, did Zavala
Damn you,
just
coward,
die?
stop teleporting.
Did Zavala just
What just happened? Oh, that's a rocket launcher. Stop using jetpacks, that's cheating.
What happened?
I don't know. I think we just got nuked by North Korea and then Zavala died.
Come at me, bro, I'm gonna knife you to death.
The corpse is right there.
Even alone though, the solid gunplay, stellar soundtrack, and fantastic graphics make for a great campaign, with mostly fantastic gameplay. Because we all know games have to have that one section. So let's elaborate on that gameplay then, shall we? There are 3 classes with 3 subclasses each to make up for a total of 9 styles of play. That's a pretty good number of playstyles to choose from. So once you've picked your class, it's time for you to pick your weapons. You get 3 slots, 2 of them the same weapons that just go into different categories for some reason and you can't really swap them into different categories. And then the power weapons, for which ammo is so scarce that you'll hardly end up using them.
What?
These include things like rocket launchers and grenade launchers, snipers, and swords. Swords. Like I said earlier, some of my favorite moments have been from multiplayer, so once you and your boys are done with the campaign, what's next? Well, the PvP and PvE modes are both multiplayer, so you'll have a dandy time. PvP is basically the same as it was back in my first video on Destiny 2, with the same 2 game modes, just more maps. But I haven't really gotten bored of it, and you get some pretty good stuff for playing it too, so that's cool in my book. Strikes I really haven't played a lot of personally, but despite their length, those are pretty solid too. Shoot a bit of boys, get some good stuff, and fight a big old boss at the end to get more good stuff. Cool beans.
Looks like this misogynistic piece of garbage likes Destiny 2 too. God, I can't believe this one. For your crimes against people of color and gay gender fluid transsexual squirrels, we sentence you to execution.
When I first found out that Bungie was developing a sequel to Destiny, I was intrigued, asking myself the same question I was sure the employees at Bungie were already asking themselves. Could Destiny 2 recapture everything great about the original while still being a solid game in its own right? Let's find out.
Streets back, alright.
Even though I enjoyed my time in the original game, I came to realize that it was mediocre at best. Regardless, I was still intrigued at the idea of playing Destiny 2 on a mouse and keyboard at an uncapped frame rate. It appealed to me in the same way that bullying that faggot Tyler in 5th period appeals to me, because walking all over those filthy console plebs is one of the last bastions of life and happiness I have left in this world. Sorry if that got dark. However, after playing through the game's campaign more than once and completing some of the endgame content, I can say with certainty that the game is a lot like the initials of Margaret Elizabeth Harriman, meaning it's meh. Don't get me wrong, the game is fun, but I only found it fun because of the gunplay. And if you don't enjoy that, then there's little chance that you'll like this game at all, since so much of it revolves around, you know.
We went down to Starless. You get to go to their free live training event Tuesday the 14th and live during the training. Don't miss out. Concealed for a wide with a concealedcarrylive.com. So skills sharp and yourself in your homes from Lake Corpman. You were 14 at the time. Jumped out at me. Quote, I felt.
You get the idea. Maybe it would help if your character and the world would be something you could latch onto, but the game reverse Helen Keller's you, meaning that you can hear and see just fine, but you can't speak for some reason that isn't really explained. Nolan North does the voice acting for your ghost, but for the love of Christ, why not have him just voice your guardian? I'd rather have a verbal, witty protagonist and a voiceless, faceless door opener than vice versa any day of the week. And if you need someone to voice female guardians, I have a friend named Chris who I'd like to nominate for the role.
Independent woman, and she's like, you are like Hillary Clinton. You're fake as fuck. Yeah, get the fuck out. I did my stupid bitch. At least you're like Hillary Clinton. You're like 70 years old giving yourself a fucking boob transplant.
I can name 5 places.
Oh my god.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Fucking Mercedes Benz and get.
Seriously, Bungie, shoot me an email. Let's make this happen. And if you didn't play the first game, good fucking luck understanding any of the lore. I played the first game, and even I got lost in some places. Speaking of story, it's pretty sad when Nathan Fillion summarizes the game's entire plot within a 2-minute ad.
Everything is gone. Your stuff, my stuff, most importantly, my stuff. Worst case scenario, you die. But who knows? Maybe you won't. Also, there will be a ton of loot!
I'm not even kidding, that's the entire plot.
Yeah, right? That's what I thought.
It's also worth noting that all of the writing talent went into Nathan Fillion's character, Cade 6, and it shows. Beyond that, nothing about the world that you occupy is fleshed out. In fact, many new players may be overcome with the same feeling I get at family gatherings. Those being, where am I? What the fuck is going on? And who are these people? This is to say nothing of the enemy types, since any and all of them could be confused in a vacuum, and they all follow the exact 3-tier structure of easy to kill, slightly harder to kill, and complete bastard. Seriously, the shit is exactly the same over all 5 enemy types in the game. But even if I could magically forgive all this, and trust me, being magic is kind of my thing, I still wouldn't be able to get over some of the design decisions that just don't make any sense. Like how the villain is the most cliched, uninteresting character in the history of anything ever, or how centered around all of the enemy types are exact copy and paste from the original game, one-liners there are, or how it follows the same stupid DLC season pass model from the last game, or how I can't equip any shaders have primary or secondary slots even though they have the same gun types. I need a drink. In the end, if you didn't enjoy the original Destiny, there is a very, very small chance you will enjoy this game. The gameplay is very satisfying, and coupled with PvP, it really holds this game up. But the writing, the microtransactions, the story, the fucking microtransactions, make this game decent at best and completely fucked at its worst. I don't know what to say. I just feel like beating the shit out of someone right now. Hey Tyler!